Habits of highly intelligent woman. There's something quietly magnetic about a highly intelligent woman, something you can't always explain, but you feel it the moment she walks into a room. She doesn't need attention to be noticed. She doesn't need validation to feel valuable. Her presence speaks for her long before she ever opens her mouth. This video is not about perfection, ego, or superiority. It's about the habits, the mindset, and the inner discipline that set truly intelligent women apart from the noise, the chaos, and the emotional shortcuts most people live by. These women think deeper, observe differently, and move with intention. They build boundaries with confidence, they nurture their minds with purpose, and they choose growth over comfort every single time. If you've ever wondered what truly separates an ordinary woman from an exceptionally intelligent one, if you've felt that quiet voice inside you saying, "You're meant for more," then stay with me. Because these habits don't just describe intelligent women, they build them. The power of solitude. Why highly intelligent women stand strong on their own. Solitude is not loneliness. It is a conscious, empowered decision to step out of the noise and return to oneself. And this is exactly where the first habit of highly intelligent women is born. They understand that the world is full of distractions, expectations, and emotional demands that can easily pull a woman away from her center if she isn't careful. Intelligent women choose solitude because they know it is the only environment where they can hear themselves clearly, where their intuition rises, where their mind sharpens, and where they can reconnect with their goals without any interference. People may misinterpret this choice as aloofness or detachment, but in reality, it is a strategy, a form of self-preservation, and a powerful investment in their personal evolution. A highly intelligent woman doesn't fear being alone because she has built a deep relationship with herself. She understands her emotions, her thoughts, her values, and her boundaries. She knows what drains her and what nourishes her. She knows the difference between company that inspires growth and company that poisons her energy. Instead of filling her life with empty conversations and shallow bonds, she values the moments when she can sit with herself without needing external stimulation or constant validation. In her solitude, she gains the clarity that most people never achieve because they are too busy trying to stay busy. This doesn't mean she isolates herself or closes her heart to people. It simply means she is intentional. She chooses solitude not out of fear, but out of wisdom. She knows that when she gives herself space, she becomes a better thinker, a better creator, a better decision maker, and ultimately, a better version of herself. She understands that you cannot pour into others if you never refill your own mind and soul. Solitude is her reset button, her sanctuary, and her secret weapon. In these quiet spaces, she reflects. She analyzes her past choices, not to judge herself but to understand her patterns. She listens to her thoughts without distraction, letting her mind wander into deeper territories, ideas, dreams, fears, and possibilities that only emerge in stillness, where others are terrified of silence because it forces them to confront their inner chaos. The intelligent woman embraces it. She knows that healing, planning, growing, and mastering oneself requires uninterrupted time with her own truth. Highly intelligent women also use solitude as a filter. They know that if someone makes them feel more drained when they're around than peaceful when they are alone, then that person is not meant to stay in their life. Solitude teaches them what they truly want and what they refuse to tolerate. It sharpens their intuition to sense energy, motives, and emotional authenticity. When a woman is comfortable alone, she cannot be manipulated, rushed, pressured, or influenced by things that don't align with her inner standards. She builds a strong sense of self-worth and becomes emotionally self-sufficient, which protects her from toxic relationships, draining friendships, and environments that do not match her value. This comfort with solitude also reflects her emotional maturity. She does not cling, chase, or beg for anyone's presence. She does not force connections or try to make herself smaller just to fit into someone's world. She knows that the right people will understand her, appreciate her, and match her energy without needing explanations or constant compromise. Her solitude teaches her that she is enough, that she is whole, and that she is complete even without external validation. Because of this, she enters every connection from a place of strength, rather than need. Another reason why intelligent women choose solitude is because they are dreamers and builders. They need uninterrupted time to create, plan, learn, and grow. Solitude becomes the soil where their ambitions take root. It gives them space to strategize their next move, to work on their skills, to map out their future, and to pursue their passions with full intensity. They don't require constant social activity because they have a mission greater than momentary distractions. Their goals excite them more than gossip, their growth fulfills them more than weekend chaos, and their self-improvement matters more than social approval. Yet, what truly sets them apart is their ability to turn solitude into strength. They don't just sit alone, they evolve alone. They use isolation not to hide from the world, but to prepare for the world. When they re-enter the noise of life, they come back sharper, calmer, clearer, and more powerful. Their decisions become intentional, their standards rise, their emotional resilience deepens. They become women who cannot be easily shaken because they have built themselves from the inside out. And because solitude has taught them who they are, they move differently, they speak with conviction, they walk with purpose, they protect their peace fiercely. They don't engage in drama, they don't entertain negativity, and they don't allow people to disturb the inner world they've worked so hard to build. Their solitude becomes their foundation, and everything in their life begins to rise from it. In a world obsessed with constant connection, intelligent women stand out because they understand the power of stepping back. They know that peace is priceless, clarity is powerful, and self-knowledge is transformative. Their solitude is not a weakness. It is the very reason they glow with confidence. It is the reason they are emotionally stable, mentally sharp, and spiritually aligned. And it is the reason they become women who not only succeed, but inspire, lead, and rise above the ordinary. Their solitude is their strength, unshakable, undeniable, and unforgettable. The silent power. Why highly intelligent women observe more than they speak. Observation is an underrated form of intelligence, and highly intelligent women master it effortlessly. While the world races to speak, to react, to be heard first, these women sit back and watch. Not out of shyness, not out of insecurity, but out of strategic awareness. They understand that the truth about people is revealed not by what they say, but by how they act, how they listen, and how they show up when no one is watching. This habit of deep observation becomes one of their greatest strengths, shaping their relationships, their decisions, and their emotional resilience. A highly intelligent woman doesn't rush to fill silence. She values silence because it gives her space to notice what others miss. She pays attention to tone, body language, inconsistencies, and emotional patterns. She listens not just to words but to what lies between them, what someone hesitates to say, what they exaggerate, what they avoid, and what their energy reveals before their mouth even opens. While most people are busy preparing their next sentence, she is absorbing the entire environment like a quiet radar. And because she notices everything, she rarely gets surprised by people's true nature. One of the most powerful things about intelligent women is that they don't speak to impress, they speak to express. They don't waste energy on unnecessary arguments, gossip, or noise. They talk when there is value to add, when their voice matters, when their opinion carries depth. Their words have weight because they choose them carefully. This makes them appear wise, composed, and grounded. They communicate with intention, not impulse, and people feel it instantly. Observation also protects her. She doesn't dive headfirst into relationships, friendships, or opportunities. She watches first. She evaluates someone's character before trusting them. She pays attention to consistency before committing emotionally. She has learned that charm can be faked but patterns cannot. So she gives people space to show who they truly are. And because of this, she avoids many emotional traps that others fall into. She doesn't get blinded by sweet words or temporary gestures. She looks for patterns, effort, sincerity, reliability, and she only invests when she sees them. Highly intelligent women also use observation as a self-growth tool. They don't only study people, they study themselves. They reflect on how they react, what triggers them, what inspires them, what scares them, and what strengthens them. Their self-awareness is elevated because they observe their own inner world with the same depth they observe others. They don't run from their flaws or hide behind excuses. They analyze, understand, and evolve. They treat their growth like a lifelong commitment, not a temporary phase. Observation enables them to move through life with clarity instead of confusion. This deep observational habit also gives them emotional intelligence. They can sense tension before it's spoken. They can feel when someone's energy changes. They notice when people are hurting, even if they act strong. They see behind masks because they are paying attention. This makes them compassionate, yet selective. They understand people, but they do not let everyone into their world. They can empathize without absorbing negativity. They can care without compromising their peace. Another reason intelligent women observe so deeply is because they are naturally intuitive. Their intuition is sharp because they trust what they see, what they sense, and what they know. Intuition is not magic, it is simply the mind connecting dots that others ignore. Intelligent women notice small details, red flags, changes in behavior, and emotional shifts. Their intuition guides their decisions, and most of the time, it is right. They don't have to investigate every situation because their observation has already told them what they need to know. This habit also makes their conversations different. When they finally speak, it's thoughtful and grounded. They don't talk in circles or create confusion. They bring clarity. They bring insight. They bring truth. People often say highly intelligent women give the best advice, not because they know everything, but because they actually listen. They understand the situation before responding. They don't speak to show off, they speak to illuminate. However, this depth of observation can make them misunderstood. Some people think they are distant or hard to read. Others assume they are uninterested or unimpressed. But the truth is, they are simply absorbing the environment before deciding how to engage with it. They understand that reacting too quickly can lead to regret. They'd rather understand first and speak later. This patience gives them control over their emotions, their relationships, and their choices. Highly intelligent women also know that silence is often more powerful than words. Silence can reveal who is sincere, who is insecure, who is manipulative, and who is genuine. Silence exposes people who need constant validation. Silence shows who respects her boundaries and who doesn't. Silence forces the world to reveal its intentions, so she uses silence not as a shield, but as a strategy. This habit of observing before speaking also makes her a powerful leader. In workplaces, relationships, and social spaces, she notices inefficiencies, hidden problems, and unspoken tensions long before others do. She can anticipate outcomes, predict reactions, and guide situations calmly. Her awareness gives her an advantage, mentally, emotionally, and strategically. She is not passive. She is not shy. She is not disconnected. She is simply intelligent enough to understand that wisdom grows in quiet minds. The world may praise loud voices, but she knows that stillness often holds the deeper truth. Observation is her armor. Observation is her compass. Observation is her silent power. And when she finally chooses to speak, she speaks with a confidence that comes from understanding, not guessing. A power that comes from awareness, not assumption. A presence that comes from depth, not noise. She doesn't dominate the room with volume. She dominates it with insight. That is the beauty and the brilliance of a woman who observes more than she speaks. The courage to question. How highly intelligent women grow by challenging everything. Even themselves, highly intelligent women are not defined by how much they know, but by how deeply they think. What makes them truly extraordinary is not their IQ, not their achievements, not their degrees. It's their relentless willingness to question everything around them and everything within them. They refuse to accept beliefs just because they are traditional, opinions just because they are popular, or expectations just because society imposes them. Their mind is naturally wired to analyze, challenge, deconstruct, and rebuild. This habit of questioning, especially questioning themselves, is what keeps them evolving while others remain stuck in old patterns. For many people, certainty is comforting. They want answers, not questions. They want clarity without exploration. But highly intelligent women are different. They embrace the unknown because they understand that growth requires uncertainty. They aren't afraid to poke holes in old assumptions, to ask why things are the way they are, and to challenge thoughts that no longer serve them. They don't cling to outdated beliefs or stubbornly defend their ego. They know that intellectual and emotional maturity is found through exploration, not rigidness. A highly intelligent woman asks herself difficult questions, questions that most people avoid because the answers can be uncomfortable. She asks, why did I react that way? What am I afraid of? What belief am I holding on to that no longer reflects who I am? What truth am I avoiding? What is this situation trying to teach me? Her inner dialogue is not self-critical, but self-reflective. She doesn't shame herself, she studies herself. She treats her inner world with curiosity, not judgment. This habit gives her a deeper understanding of her emotions, her patterns, and her growth potential. This ability to self-question also prevents her from repeating the same mistakes. While others fall into the same cycles again and again because they never examine their behavior, she consciously breaks her patterns. She observes what triggers her, what drains her, what inspires her, what limits her, and what empowers her. She doesn't run from her flaws, she confronts them. She doesn't deny her weaknesses, she works on them quietly. And because of this, she evolves at a pace that others cannot match. But questioning is not only inward, it's outward too. Highly intelligent women challenge the world. They challenge norms, expectations, stereotypes, and surface-level thinking. They are not easily influenced or manipulated because they do not accept things at face value. They want depth, logic, evidence, and authenticity. If something doesn't feel right, they trust their intuition enough to examine it further. They're not rebellious for the sake of rebellion. They're simply unwilling to live on autopilot. This questioning mindset gives them a unique advantage in life. They make better decisions because they see beyond the obvious. They evaluate all angles, consider long-term consequences, and choose actions aligned with their values instead of following the crowd. They don't rush into commitments, opportunities, or relationships without thorough thought. Their mind is their filter, and it prevents them from being swayed by pressure, fear, or temporary emotions. Another remarkable trait of intelligent women is that they are not afraid to change their mind. While many people view changing their opinion as a sign of weakness, intelligent women view it as growth. They understand that new information requires new perspectives. They know it's more courageous to admit, "I've evolved," than to cling to a belief out of pride. Their flexibility makes them adaptive, open-minded, and resilient. They move with life, not against it. Highly intelligent women also question the stories they tell themselves. They don't let limiting beliefs become lifelong scripts. When they catch themselves thinking, "I'm not enough," or "I can't do this," or "This is just who I am," they challenge those thoughts. They ask, "Who told me that? Why do I believe that? Is it true?" This internal courage frees them from emotional cages that many people live in without realizing. They break generational patterns, societal expectations, and personal fears because they dare to question the narrative. This habit also plays a major role in their confidence. People often assume intelligent women are confident because they know a lot, but the truth is deeper. They are confident because they understand themselves. They have clarity about who they are and who they're becoming. Their confidence is not loud, boastful, or forced. It is grounded in self-awareness, built from years of internal exploration. They know what they bring to the table because they have questioned every part of themselves until they uncovered their truth. Emotionally, questioning helps them avoid autopilot reactions. Instead of exploding in anger, shutting down in fear, or drowning in insecurity, they pause and ask themselves what's really going on. This gives them emotional regulation, maturity, and grounded energy. It makes them partners who communicate with depth, leaders who think critically, and individuals who navigate life with clarity. But this habit also sets them apart in relationships. Highly intelligent women do not settle easily because they question compatibility, not just chemistry. They look beyond attraction and ask, does this connection align with my values? Does this person support my growth? Do they bring peace or chaos? Are their actions consistent? They don't romanticize potential or ignore red flags. They think long-term, not short-term. And because of this, they often avoid heartbreaks that others fall into. Their questioning nature makes them intimidating to some. People who rely on manipulation, superficiality, or charm find it hard to influence them. They cannot be fooled by sweet words or big promises because their mind is constantly analyzing reality. They don't just listen to what someone says, they observe what they do. And if something doesn't add up, they trust themselves enough to walk away. Ultimately, the courage to question is what keeps highly intelligent women growing. It prevents stagnation. It opens doors. It expands their mind and strengthens their spirit. They are not afraid of being wrong. They are afraid of not evolving. They don't aim to be perfect. They aim to be authentic. And authenticity requires honesty, introspection, and continuous questioning. This habit makes them unstoppable. It gives them wisdom, emotional strength, resilience, and clarity. It separates them from the ordinary and leads them toward a life designed with intention, not unconscious repetition. A highly intelligent woman doesn't seek answers from the world, she seeks them from within. And that is where her true power lies. The power of boundaries. Why highly intelligent women don't people please. One of the most defining habits of a highly intelligent woman is her refusal to people please. She does not abandon herself for acceptance, she does not dilute her standards to be liked, and she does not shrink her personality to fit into someone else's comfort zone. She has learned, often through painful experiences, that people-pleasing is nothing more than a slow form of self-betrayal. It drains energy, destroys confidence, and teaches others that her needs are optional. So she chooses a different path. She builds boundaries. Not walls, not barriers, not emotional armor. Boundaries. Quiet, firm, unapologetic lines that protect her inner world from unnecessary chaos. Highly intelligent women understand something many people never realize. Peace is expensive, and boundaries are the currency that protects it. They have no interest in pleasing everyone, because they know that trying to satisfy everyone leads to losing oneself. They don't exist to make others comfortable. They exist to honor their own truth. And the moment a woman learns to place her well-being above approval, she shifts from emotionally drained to emotionally powerful. A highly intelligent woman knows that no is not rude, selfish, or aggressive. It is a declaration of self-respect. She uses it with grace, with calm, and without guilt. She doesn't apologize for saying no to things that drain her, overwhelm her, distract her, or misalign with her goals. She doesn't feel obligated to attend every event, respond to every message, or solve everyone's problems. She values her energy like a precious resource, because she's learned that the more she protects it, the stronger she becomes. But her boundaries aren't only about refusing the wrong things, they're also about choosing the right things. She prioritizes rest, purpose, self-care, growth, and meaningful relationships. She invests her emotional energy where it actually matters. She gives deeply, but selectively. She helps generously, but wisely. She loves fully, but not blindly. Her boundaries aren't about keeping people out. They're about keeping her peace intact. This refusal to people please stems from her deep self-awareness. Highly intelligent women understand themselves on a level that most never reach. They know what exhausts them, what inspires them, what triggers them, and what heals them. They've studied their patterns, identified their emotional cycles, and learned the hard way that giving too much leads to burnout and resentment. So they honor themselves first, not because they don't care about others, but because they've learned that caring for themselves allows them to show up stronger for the people who truly deserve their heart. People-pleasing is often rooted in fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being misunderstood. But intelligent women don't operate from fear. They operate from truth. They understand that not everyone will like them, support them, or celebrate them. And that's okay. They no longer make decisions based on who might leave. They make decisions based on who they're becoming. Their self-worth is internal, not dependent on external validation. Because of this, they are harder to manipulate, harder to guilt-trip, and harder to control. Another reason intelligent women reject people-pleasing is because they know the difference between kindness and self-erasure. Kindness is honest, intentional, and balanced. People-pleasing is exhausting, forced, and one-sided. Highly intelligent women give without losing themselves. They support without sacrificing their sanity. They listen without absorbing emotional burdens that aren't theirs. Their empathy is not a weakness. It's a strength guided by boundaries. And when they set boundaries, they do it with clarity. They don't leave room for confusion. They communicate what they expect, what they tolerate, and what they will walk away from. They don't resort to passive, aggressive behavior or silent resentment. They address problems directly, calmly, and with emotional maturity. Their boundaries are not punishments, they are standards. Standards that dictate how they allow themselves to be treated. Of course, this intimidates people who are used to taking advantage of kindness. When a people pleaser suddenly becomes a boundary setter, the world reacts. Some become uncomfortable, some become distant, and some even become angry. But highly intelligent women know this truth: if a boundary offends someone, it's because they benefited from you having none. So she doesn't shrink back just because someone disapproves. She knows that the right people will respect her boundaries, and the wrong people will remove themselves. Either way, she wins. Her boundaries also elevate her relationships. Because she's selective with her energy, she attracts people who value her, respect her, and match her emotionally. She doesn't tolerate inconsistency, disrespect, manipulation, or emotional laziness. She refuses to stay in dynamics where she's doing all the emotional labor. Her boundaries create space for mature, reciprocal, meaningful connections. Relationships rooted in authenticity, not obligation. In her professional life, boundaries give her strength. She knows when to speak up, when to step back, and when to assert herself. She doesn't volunteer for emotional work that isn't hers. She doesn't let others exploit her competence. She navigates challenges with calm confidence because she knows her worth and refuses to be undervalued. But perhaps the most powerful part of her boundary-setting habit is the internal shift it creates. When a woman stops people pleasing, she becomes unstoppable. She becomes centered, grounded, and self-assured. She enters every space with quiet confidence because she is no longer seeking permission to exist. She no longer needs the world to approve her choices or validate her feelings. She stands firmly in her identity. This internal freedom transforms everything: how she loves, how she works, how she dreams, and how she protects her peace. She is no longer drained by trying to be everything for everyone. She is no longer molded by others' expectations. She becomes a woman who lives intentionally, not reactively, and that is the essence of why highly intelligent women don't people please. They've learned that losing people is not the worst thing in the world. Losing themselves is. Purpose over attention. The quiet ambition of highly intelligent women. A highly intelligent woman does not live her life trying to be seen. She lives her life trying to become. She is driven by purpose, not applause. Her strength doesn't come from being praised, noticed, or admired. It comes from the goals she's building, the discipline she practices, the values she protects, and the life she envisions for herself. While many people are addicted to recognition, she is addicted to evolution. Her mind is too focused on becoming better to be distracted by being seen. This habit, choosing purpose over attention, is one of the deepest markers of her intelligence and the reason she grows in silence while others chase noise. Highly intelligent women understand that attention is temporary, but purpose is transformative. Approval can be withdrawn, trends fade, and admiration shifts. But purpose stays steady. Purpose becomes a compass, guiding her choices, shaping her routines, and defining the environment she allows herself into. When a woman aligns with her purpose, her life gains direction. She no longer wakes up waiting for the world to validate her. She wakes up with intention. She wakes up with clarity. She wakes up with a mission. This shift from external validation to internal alignment changes everything. Suddenly, she's no longer interested in proving herself to anyone. She's no longer tempted to overshare her plans. She doesn't need to announce her progress or display her achievements. She moves quietly because she's grounded in something deeper than attention: self-respect. The work she does behind the scenes, the hours she invests in her growth, the obstacles she overcomes in silence, these become the foundation of her strength. A highly intelligent woman also understands that attention can be a trap. It can create pressure to perform, to impress, to keep up appearances. But purpose frees her. Purpose allows her to focus on what truly matters, not what temporarily excites the world. She doesn't seek validation because she already validates herself. Her confidence comes from her competence. Her self-worth comes from her choices. Her peace comes from knowing she is living true to herself. This commitment to purpose means she's selective with her time. She doesn't engage in meaningless drama, superficial conversations, or empty distractions. She protects her schedule the same way she protects her heart. She surrounds herself with people who inspire her, challenge her, support her growth, and push her toward excellence. She avoids environments that drain her energy or pull her away from her goals. She understands that every hour spent on distraction is an hour stolen from her purpose. And while others may chase attention to feel significant, she builds significance through her actions. She works quietly, consistently, and intentionally. She doesn't chase speed, she chooses direction. She doesn't rush her journey, she honors its pace. Her progress is not loud or flashy, it's steady, deep, and meaningful. And when her results finally speak for themselves, they speak louder than any validation she could have sought from the world. This purpose-driven mindset also shapes her relationships. She seeks depth, not popularity. She values maturity, not visibility. She is drawn to people who share her values, her curiosity, her drive. She doesn't desire a large circle. She desires an aligned one. She prefers conversations that challenge her mind over conversations that feed her ego. In relationships, she looks beyond chemistry and focuses on compatibility, emotional intelligence, and mutual growth. She's not impressed by charm, she's impressed by character. Her ambition is quiet but powerful. She dreams big, not because she wants admiration, but because she knows she is capable. She sets high standards for herself, not to show off, but to honor her potential. She pushes herself beyond comfort because she refuses to settle for mediocrity. Her purpose demands excellence, discipline, resilience, and focus, and she rises to meet that demand. Society often misinterprets her. Some think she is distant because she doesn't seek attention. Others call her intimidating because she doesn't need approval. Some assume she is unapproachable because she doesn't fit the mold of loud confidence. But the truth is simple: she is occupied. Her life has meaning beyond social performance. Her peace is not dependent on being liked. Her fulfillment does not come from being watched. She is building a life that is bigger than public perception. Another significant reason highly intelligent women prioritize purpose is because they understand the fragility of attention. Today people celebrate you, tomorrow they forget you. Today they lift you, tomorrow they criticize you. A woman who chases attention becomes a slave to it, constantly adjusting, performing, and molding herself to please the crowd. But a woman who pursues purpose becomes free. She grows from the inside out, unaffected by the noise around her. Her identity does not shift with opinion. Her path does not bend with pressure. She is rooted. Purpose also gives her emotional strength. She doesn't crumble when she fails, because she sees failure as part of her mission. She doesn't overreact to setbacks, because she knows they sharpen her. She doesn't give up easily, because her purpose pulls her forward. Every challenge becomes fuel. Every lesson becomes wisdom. Every hardship becomes character. And ultimately, choosing purpose over attention makes her unforgettable. People may not notice her at first, but they notice the impact she leaves behind. They notice her discipline, her presence, her wisdom, her self-control, and the quiet power she carries. She doesn't need the spotlight because she shines from within. She doesn't need applause because she applauds herself. She doesn't need recognition because purpose has already given her identity. A highly intelligent woman does not chase attention. She chases growth. She chases meaning. She chases her own potential. And in doing so, she becomes a woman the world cannot ignore.